Starcasting to you from the City of Angels. Hi, everyone. My name is Kira. Thank you so much for being here and listening to the Voice of Astrology podcast. Astrology is the eternal, indestructible superpower of the cosmos. If you're looking for the force and freedom to make your own choices in life, to live the life that you want to live, then you've come to the right place. All you have to do is look up and look within, as above, so below. This is our astrology for the week beginning Sunday, September 25th through Saturday, October 1st, 2022. Let's journey with astrology and explore how to connect with the stars, the planets, the energies for our new week ahead. Now, on Sunday, September 25th, the week is starting off with the new moon in Libra. The new moon in Libra at 2 degrees. Now, when we have the new moon is about taking a new action in your life. This is when the sun and moon line up. The moon fills up with new energy and new power to begin a new journey. Now, the new moon in Libra is cardinal air. The cardinal signs of the zodiac, they initiate, they lead, they begin something. They bring us into a new chapter, a new time in our life. When it's in the sign of Libra, which is an air sign, this is a new way of communicating, negotiating, and bringing peace and balance to a situation. In astrology, Libra is the only sign of the zodiac that is not represented by a living being. We have animals and people and scorpions in astrology, but the only non-living being in astrology is the sign of Libra, being represented by the scales of justice. Now, justice and Libra, the scales of justice, this is the continuing process with the sign of Libra, and the continuing process somewhere in your life where bringing into balance certain things, that process of checks and balances. Nature is always weighing and bringing things into balance, very impartially, very just. There is perfect balance and justice in the cosmos always. So where this is taking place in your chart, meaning where this is taking place in your life, is a new beginning to bring something into balance. Now, with Libra and the new moon in Libra, I'm going to go over all the 12 houses of the zodiac, meaning where this new moon in Libra, what house it's taking place in your chart. We'll get to that. You need to know what your rising sign is or your ascendant. It's based on your birth date, time, and place. But somewhere in your chart, you have Libra, which is ruled by Venus. Venus right now is not visible. She's in what's called under the beams in inferior conjunction. Venus will reemerge as an evening star on December 3rd. So without being able to see Venus, which the ancients called the Queen of Heaven, you could think of it this way. You could think of it as we being in a process of new peace and new balance. We don't see the end result yet until Venus makes her debut when she reemerges as an evening star on December 3rd. But we are in that process. So for Sundays, we're starting off the week, the new moon in Libra, which is about how we are bringing into our life greater communication, because it's very frustrating for any of the air signs to not be able to express concepts, ideas, communication. That's what the element in astrology does. It has to have freedom of thought and movement of mind to feel powerful. So on this day, we have the new moon in Libra, and then right after the new moon in Libra, the moon in Libra makes what's called an opposition to Jupiter and Aries. Now, Aries is ruled by Mars. It's the war god. And one of the themes through this whole week is about peace versus war, heaven and hell. It doesn't get uglier than war. Venus in Libra is all about the beauty. So we have this moon in Libra opposition Jupiter in Aries. And this is big because the moon is what you want. The moon is the needs and what you want to acquire to feel safe, to feel content, to feel happy. Now, the moon in Libra is very social. It loves people. It loves to move around from place to place and have all different kinds of relationships with all different kinds of people. The moon in Libra is like an ambassador, a diplomat, a diplomat. It's a presence of wanting to bring all countries, people, languages, all of it into peace and harmony. Moon in Libra, so social, ruled by Venus. Now, the moon, again, in Libra makes this opposition aspect to over the top Jupiter. And Jupiter is about no limits, not recognizing any boundaries. Jupiter just keeps going and going and going. And it's in Aries, which is ruled by Mars. Now, Jupiter in Aries it can be over the top selfishness. When we look at the Libra Aries axis, we're looking at the interplay between Aries, which is I am what I want, versus Libra. We are what's good for us, what's good for the partnership, the whole. So this moon opposition Jupiter in Aries is that interplay between what we should have versus no, what I want. And the potential for conflict certainly is there because we're looking at an opposition aspect. And not only that, this is a big aspect because the moon is always trying to acquire and Jupiter doesn't recognize limitations. So I versus we, peace versus war, as we are in this new moon action, this new moon process of creating, because Venus creating a new way of having peace and communicating about peace. When we start off the week on Monday, September 26th, now we have the sun in Libra opposite Jupiter in Aries. This is when the big egos get involved. The moon is what we want. The sun is about how you want to be seen. It's the ego. A lot of it is the defense mechanisms. So this sun in Libra opposite Jupiter in Aries, this is about the who's right, who's wrong, who's the boss, who's leading the show. We're looking at cardinal signs of the zodiac, which is to initiate and lead. The cardinal signs of the zodiac are Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. So sun opposition Jupiter, and typically the sun and Jupiter, they love each other, those two planets, but they are having a conflict here. It's an opposition about how are we going to be seen? What are we going to do? The egos now are clashing. After we have the sun in Libra opposite Jupiter in Aries, we still have the moon on Monday, the moon's day. The moon in Libra making an opposition aspect to Chiron, the wounded healer in Aries. Now, Chiron, the wounded healer in Aries. Aries is the sense of individuality. This is who I am. The newborn baby of the zodiac, Aries, is a person in the purest essence of who and what they are. They haven't been socialized and conditioned yet. Aries is the individual, the sense of I am. And so with the moon in Libra, which wants peace and togetherness and harmony and connection and wants to communicate about it, making that opposition to Chiron in Aries, then this is that conflict that needs to be balanced out. It's the conflict of how do I remain an individual, Chiron in Aries, yet at the same time be connected and together with a group, with people. We need to balance out both. We need to become our own unique one individual that we are, yet at the same time, we are wired for peace and connection. We need to bring into balance both, how to be in the group, but your own unique self at the same time. Later on in the day on September 26th, we have this lovely air trine flow. We still have the moon in Libra making a trine to Mars and Gemini, and the moon in Libra making a trine to Saturn in Aquarius. Now we're looking at the three air signs: Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. The moon trine Mars is being in touch with what action you want to take as far as making the changes to achieve balance and peace. The moon in Libra trine Saturn in Aquarius, that's favorable as well, as far as taking the action to build upon. This is Saturn, a new communication, a new attitude, a new state of mind to create better peace and harmony. Love these aspects on Monday. Moon in Libra trine Mars in Gemini, moon in Libra trine Saturn in Aquarius. Really nice air trine flow, triangle, pyramid movement in the element of air. On Tuesday, September 27th, the moon falls into the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Now, the moon in Scorpio is about the emotional imprint that was never yours to carry, psychologically, emotionally, based on the caretaker, the mom, that's the moon, or whoever raised you. The moon entering Scorpio is the potential for releasing, purification, and healing in the area of what emotions were never yours to carry through life to begin with. And Mars is a planet in astrology that cuts things away. So releasing with this new moon, because we're in the young baby moon phase now, releasing negative emotions that are not yours. Let it go. In other words, that's what Mars does. It makes things go away. So moon in her fall in Scorpio is purifying the intense negative emotions that are not yours, never were yours to begin with. The moon is, what I'm trying to say here astrologically, is that the moon is the past. The moon is the subconscious. The moon is the memory. In a lot of ways, our brain is like a memory bank. And so bringing into balance memories that need to go at this time, meaning releasing them. That's a part of what this new moon cycle, moon in her fall in Scorpio, is about. Later on in the day, then we have Mars in Gemini making a trine flow to Saturn in Aquarius. Now, Mars and Saturn in astrology are called the greater and lesser malefic. They're the bad guys. And part of why they were named so is because in ancient times, things being cut away, things that we are separated from, things that are taken away are typically not looked at as favorable. We like to achieve and get things for the most part. So when we look at Mars and Saturn, the two bad guys working in harmony, because it's a Mars in Gemini making an air trine flow to Saturn in Aquarius. This is the taking away, the separating from things, meaning a state of mind, because we're looking at air. For instance, take a look at how you talk to yourself in your own head. What negative thoughts, negative beliefs? What is the attitude, the way you're communicating, perhaps, that Mars and Saturn working in harmony now want to separate you from, now want to Mars cut away? May not be so easy initially, but ultimately it's a really great thing, because there is no growth without letting go. There is no getting without sacrificing. And the theme of this week is bringing things into balance in your life, and also peace versus war, Libra versus Aries, meaning Venus versus Mars, war and peace, heaven and hell. When we go into September 29th, what's happening on this day is start celebrating, because Venus, the queen of heaven, she goes home to her castle. She enters the sign of Libra. Now, when Venus is in her domicile, when she's in Libra, Venus is very, very pleased with this. And Venus is all about pleasing, the pleasures of life, the beauty of life, the cooperation in life. When we cooperate, we move forward together. When we're at war and there's conflict, we're not moving forward. We're not progressing. We're not advancing. So Venus going home to Libra is that feeling of beauty, harmony, peace, feeling good in your body. When you're feeling good, the law of attraction kicks in. When we feel great, we're more open to everything around us. So this Venus in Libra is a beautiful thing, to say the least. Now, she's still not visible yet until she emerges as an evening star on December 3rd. But Venus at home in Libra is much more favorable, to say the least, than where Venus has been in her fall in the sign of Virgo. So Venus returns to her castle. The Queen of Heaven is very happy in that placement. On the same day, September 29th, we have the moon entering the sign of Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter. Sagittarius is fiery, it's happy-go-lucky. A lot of times Sagittarius is referenced to be the clown of the zodiac, meaning Sagittarius has so much fun. They have a great sense of humor. It's very playful and adventurous. When we close out September 29th, the moon in Sagittarius makes a sextile harmonious aspect to Venus, now at home in Libra. So this interplay between fire and air feeds the flames of desire. It makes the enthusiastic flames of fire with the moon in Sagittarius grow bigger. Jupiter and Venus, those are two planets that get along famously in astrology. Nice aspect on Jupiter's day, Thursday, September 29th. On Friday, September 30th, now we still have the moon in Sagittarius, which rules over gratitude, good luck, and blessings. Sagittarius is very often referred to as Santa Claus, abundance, just the flow of everything. And there is more than enough than everyone for everyone in this cosmos. The moon in Sagittarius will make a fire trine flow to Jupiter in Aries, Jupiter being the ruler of Sagittarius. Buy a couple lotto tickets. What does it hurt? That's very lucky. Also, the moon in Sagittarius will make a sextile aspect to the sun in Libra, and then the moon in Sag will make a fire trine flow to Chiron in Aries. So a greater sense of identity, who and what you are, what you want to show the world. Sun in Libra, Chiron in Aries. Now they're getting favorable support from the moon in Sagittarius. Think of this as a new you that you want to show the world, whether it's now or whether you're waiting for Venus to return to the night sky. It's a new sense of self. On October 1st, Saturday, October 1st, what we're having this day is Venus opposition Jupiter in Aries. There is that I versus we, war and peace theme again as a thread running through the week. So the Venus in Libra opposition, the Jupiter in Aries, this is where are we going to put the cosmic power? Into diplomacy, the relationship, harmony, peace, or that Jupiter in Aries, which is nope, it's all about me. It can be tremendously selfish. Now, having said that, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It relates to the stage of the newborn. For a newborn, it's appropriate for the newborn to be selfish because they simply can't get their needs met without their needs being taken care of by the caretaker. But as we get to the stage of Libra in the seventh house, which is marriage, cooperation, getting along, Venus in Libra, then that is the opposition, Venus in Libra, opposition Jupiter in Aries, where we have to bring into balance the I, what I need, interplaying with the marriage, the us, the we, Venus in Libra. Also on this day, October 1st, we have the moon in Sagittarius making an opposition to Mars in Gemini ruled by Mercury. Now, when we look at the interplay between Sagittarius and Gemini, Sagittarius is the higher philosophical mind. What's the big picture? What is it all about? Gemini is about show me the little itsy bitsy details. So the moon opposition Mars can be very much a war of words in a very big way, moon in Sagittarius, about how are we going to get to peace and balance and harmony. It's very philosophical about faith and what people believe in, what you believe in, versus Gemini, which is, but what are the adaptations and changes, mutable Gemini, what are the adaptations and changes we need to make so that everyone can get along regardless of their faith, their belief system? That's the moon in Sagittarius. As we close out the week on Saturday, the moon still in Sagittarius makes a square aspect to Neptune in Pisces. And then the moon in Sagittarius makes a square to Mercury in Virgo. So all of this mutable energy that is squaring off with each other. What this is all about is we have to get to the negotiating table and look at all different sides to the situation so that ultimately it can come out harmoniously. So on October 1st, Saturday, moon square Neptune, if you're feeling confused, if you're feeling like you've been lied to, deceived, if you're just not quite sure how you feel about the whole thing, that's the moon in Sag square Neptune in Pisces. The moon in Sagittarius squaring Mercury in Virgo. Mercury in Virgo, it's domicile and exaltation. This is a situation here where you don't have to make your mind up right away. Take your time. Again, look at all the different factors involved with bringing peace and harmony and balance. So this is our week, which is going to be an incredible week, to say the least. It's a week of ushering in a new time. It's a week of negotiating and working through conflicts as far as what is the big picture that will make the appropriate changes that include everyone. Now, what I wanted to do is, because somewhere in your chart, in everybody's chart, they have the sign of Libra. So let's take a look at this new moon in Libra, which is the new action as far as bringing into balance and harmony an area of your life on an individual basis, as well as the bigger picture, the planet, the whole. You need to know what your rising sign, your ascendant is. And if you have the new moon in Libra in the first house of you, this is about bringing back into balance your health, your vitality. The first house in astrology is your body. And Libra is a sign that is always in a process of trying to find balance, trying to bring peace and harmony with others. It's a constant state of checks and balances and becoming. And Libra in the first house, the new moon in Libra, Libra can work until they're ready to collapse. Again, that process of trying to be balanced is the sign of Libra. So if you have this new moon in Libra in the first house of you and your physicality, justice, the scales of justice, Libra, will give to you what you deserve, in the sense of, if you do the work, you get the rewards. If you mess up, you get the punishment. This is justice, reward or consequences. So if you've not been taking care of your body, not resting, not eating right, doing whatever it is to your body that has kept it out of balance, then the new moon in Libra will bring you the results. If you've been doing all of the right things, physically, psychologically, emotionally, then the new moon in Libra brings you the reward, which is feeling great, feeling balanced, feeling in harmony with your body. The body cannot lie. You know how you feel energetically. So new moon action is take the actions to bring your body back into balance if the new moon is in your first house. If you have the new moon in Libra in your second house, this is about bringing into balance what you have been doing with your money, with your talents. New moon in Libra, which brings peace and a feeling of well-being, is when you bring back into balance whether you've been spending too much, but sometimes the new moon in Libra in the second house can be about bringing back into balance if you never spend. Venus and Libra, remember, is about pleasure, being happy, enjoying your life. If you never spend on yourself, and believe it or not, a lot of people don't, they feel very guilty about spending on themselves, then indulge a little bit, bring that new moon in Libra into balance by doing something nice for yourself, whichever way it goes. Second house new moon in Libra is about bringing into balance what you're doing with not only your money, but your talents. Everyone has a knack for something. This is the second house. And if you've been neglecting that and not giving yourself the luxury of time for you to develop your talents, then do so, bring that back into balance. New moon in Libra in the third house is about all the little things we have to do on a daily basis, meaning the banking, dropping off the dry cleaning, driving kids to school, this constant situation of having errands and busy work to do. This is the third house, which is your neighborhood, running around the neighborhood, shopping, and all of that. If you're so out of balance and disorganized that most of your time or all of your time just about is about running errands, meaning running yourself too thin, then the new moon in Libra is about getting more balanced and organized with all the little things that we all have to do on a daily basis. Also, the new moon in Libra in the third house is getting back in balance with your siblings. If you've not seen your family for a while, brothers, sisters, friends that you consider to be family, get in balance with them again, have some fun. Venus, which is about the pleasure of life. If you have the new moon in Libra in the fourth house of home, privacy, the fourth house in particular rules over the bedroom. So if it's always public and everything is for show and everything is on social media, then the new moon in Libra is to bring back into balance private time, quiet time, contemplative time. It's about giving yourself the sacredness of some things are private, some things are just for you. Also, the fourth house is home and family, the parents, spending time with your parents, bringing that back into balance. If you have the new moon in Libra in the fifth house is children. If you're so overworked and stressed that you've not been spending time with your children, fifth house, and in particular, playing with them. The fifth house relates to the sign of Leo. And one of the things we love about the sign of Leo is that they always hold on to that sense of having fun and play and never letting go of the big kid inside of them. Leo is very happy. It's very sunny and positive. It's all about the play. So spending time with your children and playing with them. Children don't want to sit across a table and have a conversation. The way they connect, the way they relate to us is by us playing with them. If you don't have children, then indulge and bring into balance that sense of play and having fun. Fifth house, the Leo house, bring that back into balance. And if you love to create, that's even better, because the sun in Leo, the fifth house, is just the joy of creating whatever that is for you. If you have the new moon in Libra in the sixth house is all about the things that work for you: computers, cars, technology, employees, if you have them. Getting back into balance, the things that make your life so much smoother, the things that work for us, get that back into balance. In other words, the sixth house being the house of slings and arrows, it could be a situation, for instance, where we know we need to get the car checked or the oil changed or something like that. And we put it off, and then a tiny little problem can turn into a big problem. Sixth house, Virgo in the natural wheel. So take care of all the small details that just mean so much. Get that back into balance. The seventh house, new moon in Libra in the seventh house. Well, this is all about the marriage and the partnership. So if you never date, if you never go out, if you're never having fun in the area of finding a relationship, or if you're already married, but you never spend time together. In a marriage, there are three: you, the other person, and the relationship. If we don't pay attention, nurture the relationship will be out of balance and it will not grow. So get back into balance your relationship, your marriage. And if you don't have the marriage, then getting back to finding a romantic partner. This is where your life needs to be brought back into balance. If you have the new moon in Libra in the eighth house, this is joint finances. The number one thing that couples tend to fight about is, what are we doing with the money? The stress about finances. So if one person likes to spend, for instance, the other person never likes to spend, or whatever it may be, bringing back into balance and harmony and peace, especially the peace, is what are we doing with the joint money, the finances? If you have the new moon in Libra up in the ninth house is about adventure. It's the Sagittarius house. It's to go to new places. That little sense of danger, excitement. We're doing something new. We're discovering, we're exploring. Sagittarius, ninth house. Bringing that back into balance for yourself. And if you're in a relationship, doing the same old thing all of the time in a relationship and or on your own. What we lose balance with is that sense of the new, the adventure, that sense of excitement in life. So bring that back into harmony. If you have the new moon in Libra up in the ninth house, go someplace, discover someplace new. If you have the new moon in Libra up in the 10th house. Now, this is about going out and being more visible. Unlike the fourth house, which is all about privacy and keeping certain things a secret because it only belongs to you, the new moon in Libra up in the 10th house is, if you're a couch potato, if you never go out, then you need to bring back into balance. Go out, meet new people, be seen, be visible. That's the 10th house. It's also the house of career and what we want to contribute back to the world, the highest potential of the chart. So never socialize at work, bring that into balance. Never socialize in the area of people and friends or potential friends in work, bring that back into balance. Also, if that doesn't apply to you, just going out and being seen, being visible. New moon in Libra up in the 10th house. If you have the new moon in Libra in the 11th house, the 11th house, yes, is the house of friendship, but the 11th house is all about not only the future, but philanthropic causes, volunteer work, benefits, contributing back to humanity. So volunteer someplace in your community, pick a cause that really speaks to your heart, and bring into balance by giving back. Here in the City of Angels, we have a wonderful organization called the Tree People. And the Tree People, they go around and plant trees and try to catch rainwater when we have it as a way of trying to green Los Angeles. It's a wonderful organization. I'm sure that wherever you are, wherever you live, you have local organizations as well. With new moon in Libra in the 11th house, we contribute and give something back. That brings things back into balance and creates more peace and harmony. If you have the new moon in Libra in the 12th house of your chart, the 12th house is the house of undoing. The 12th house has to do with addictions. And so the new moon in Libra in the 12th house is bringing back into balance, because remember, the scales of justice, the scales of Libra, we either get the reward that we deserve or we get the punishment that we have earned. These are the scales being balanced. And the 12th house being the house of undoing in astrology is that whatever your addiction may be, and there are so many forms of addiction, anger, being sad, the obvious ones, drinking and drugs, shopping, you name it. This new moon in Libra is about balancing out and releasing the addictions that you may have. Now, if you feel lonely, sad, angry, if your addictions are addictions to the negative emotions, then how you bring the scales of balance into balance is by getting in touch with yourself. Meaning, if you're not connecting to the truth or the authenticity of how you feel, the anger, the sadness, the grief, the negative emotions, then an addiction is a way of avoiding feeling those feelings. And it can be a feeling of being lost because you're not connecting and in harmony, new moon in Libra, with what I call the authentic self, not being in touch with that. How do you find it? Shift your attention to what it is that you love. Venus, Libra, Venus, love. As Joseph Campbell used to say, follow your bliss. Find what it is that you love and go there. And when you check in with what it is that you truly love, ask the true authentic self, what is it that you truly love? What is your bliss? Irrespective of what other people think or have perhaps a judgment about it, and go there. That's how you overcome whatever addiction you may have. And sometimes an addiction, when I work with clients, is an addiction to anger, sadness, just the negative emotions. Again, it's not always the drugs and the alcohol. They're out of touch with their true self. That's why they feel that loneliness and sadness. So this is our week starting on September 25th with this beautiful new moon in Libra, represented by the scales of justice. We are big picture entering a time where greater justice and peace is being created. Not always easy, of course, to get there, but this is what's happening. And it all begins with the creation of peace within ourselves. Because if we're not authentic and at peace inside, then that's not what then that's what we give to the outside world. We bring ourselves everywhere we go and in everything we do. So it all begins with finding the peace within so that we can create the peace and harmony without. Thank you, everyone. I wish you nothing but peace, love, and harmony always. And don't worry, we're going to get there. The world is about to change big time with all that's going on. Thank you. I will see you all in the stars. Thank you.